Captain HFY looked at the screen in front of him. His purple skin turned pale as he read the numbers. The ship's computer had found something that should not exist. "Sir," said Science Officer Veltar from her station. "The readings are correct. I have checked them 5 times. HFY's 3 eyes blinked slowly. In his 20 years of space travel, he had never seen anything like this. The ship Starweaver had been doing a normal survey mission in this part of space. They were looking for new planets that could support life. What they found was impossible. The 3rd planet from the local star was sending out radio signals. This meant there was intelligent life there. But the planet itself was a death trap. The ship's computer had marked it as Class 13, the most dangerous type of world in all galactic records. "Show me the planet data again," HFY said. Veltar pressed some buttons. The main screen filled with information that made everyone on the bridge feel sick. Gravity, 1.3 times standard. This was crushing force that would break the bones of most species. Atmosphere, 21% oxygen. This gas was so reactive it could cause fires and explosions. Most civilized species breathed safer gas mixtures. Radiation levels, extreme. The planet's star was bombarding the surface with deadly energy that could kill most life forms in minutes. Weather systems, violent and unpredictable. Massive storms raged across the planet's surface with winds that could tear buildings apart. Geological activity, high. The planet's crust was unstable, with volcanoes and earthquakes happening all the time. Surface water, everywhere. The planet was covered in vast oceans and lakes filled with dangerous chemicals and unknown life forms. "This is madness," whispered communications specialist Quinda. "Nothing can live on a world like this." But the radio signals kept coming. They were organized and complex. Someone down there was not just alive but building technology and talking to each other. HFY made a decision that went against all his training. "Quinda, try to make contact." "Sir?" Quinda's voice was full of fear. "The regulations say we should report this to the council first." "The regulations never covered a situation like this," HFY replied. "Open a channel." Quinda's hands shook as she worked her controls. She sent out a basic first contact message in the standard galactic languages. The signal went down to the planet's surface. They waited. The bridge was quiet, except for the hum of the ship's engines. Then the speakers crackled to life. "Hello there," came a cheerful voice. "This is Jake Martinez at Houston Control. We've been waiting for you folks to call." The entire bridge crew froze. The voice sounded happy, excited even. This was not how survivors on a Hellworld were supposed to sound. Quinda looked at her captain. HFY nodded for her to respond. "Greetings," Quinda said carefully. "We are surprised to find life on your world. Our instruments show your planet is very dangerous." Jake Martinez laughed. Actually laughed. "Dangerous? Well, I guess it can be a bit rough sometimes. Where are you folks from?" "We represent the Therian Republic," Quinda said. "We are part of the Galactic Survey Fleet. Your world registers as Class 13 on our danger scale." "Class 13? That sounds pretty serious. What's the worst class you have?" "Class 13 is the worst," Veltar whispered. "Class 13 is the highest." "Quinda," told Jake. "It means your world should be impossible to live on." There was a pause. Then Jake spoke again. "Huh. That's interesting. Hey, are you guys planning to visit? We'd love to meet some real aliens. We could throw a barbecue, maybe grab some cold beers. The weather's been pretty nice lately." The aliens looked at each other in horror. The human was inviting them down to the death planet for some kind of social gathering, and he thought the weather was nice. "The current surface temperature at your location is 32 degrees Celsius, Veltar said, reading her instruments. "That is hot enough to kill most of our crew." 32 degrees, Jake said. "That's only about 90 Fahrenheit. Perfect barbecue weather. Come on down. We've got air conditioning if you get too warm." HFY stepped forward. "Human Jake Martinez, we must ask. How do you survive on your world? Do you live underground? Do you have special protection suits? Underground? No. Most of us live right on the surface. Some folks have basements, but that's mainly for storage. Protection suits? Just sunscreen and maybe a hat if it's really bright out. The bridge crew was starting to panic. Veltar was checking her instruments again and again. Sure, they must be broken. Your atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, she said. This is a highly explosive gas. How do you breathe it safely? Well, we kind of need it, Jake replied. Can't live without oxygen. We breathe it all day long. Been doing it since we were born. You breathe explosive gas? For your entire lives? Quinda asked weakly. I guess you could call it explosive. We use it to burn stuff all the time. Got my grill fired up right now, actually, making burgers for lunch. You deliberately ignite combustible materials near the explosive atmosphere? Zexai asked. His voice was getting higher with each word. Sure. Fire's pretty useful. We cook with it, heat our homes, make energy. Humans discovered fire thousands of years ago. Changed everything. The aliens were now convinced they were talking to either the toughest species in the galaxy or a group of complete maniacs. Listen, Jake continued. Why don't you come down and see for yourself? We've got NASA folks here who would love to meet you. Dr. Lisa Park is our xenobiology expert, and General Pete Collins runs our First Contact Division. We've been hoping for this day for a long time. You have a First Contact Division? Zexai asked. Of course. We've been planning for alien visitors since the 1950s. We've got protocols, translation software, the works. Plus, Lisa makes amazing apple pie. What is apple pie? Veltar asked before she could stop herself. It's food. Sweet, delicious food. Made with fruit that grows on trees. All wrapped up in crust and baked in an oven. You cook your food with fire, Quinda said faintly. Well, yeah. Raw food can make you sick. Cooking kills the dangerous bacteria and makes everything taste better. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Finally, Zexai spoke. Jake Martinez, we need time to consider your invitation. Our species is not adapted for your world's conditions. No problem. Take your time. We're not going anywhere. This is home, after all. Oh, and Jake is fine. We're pretty informal down here. The channel closed. Zexai looked around his bridge at his terrified crew. They had discovered intelligent life on a Class 13 Hellworld. These humans not only survived there, they seemed to enjoy it. They cooked their food with fire, breathed explosive gas, and thought-crushing gravity and deadly radiation made for nice weather. Sir, Veltar said quietly, what do we do now? Zexai stared at the planet on the screen. I honestly don't know, but I think we just found the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and they want to give us pie. 3 days passed before Captain Zexai made his decision. Against all safety rules and his crew's advice, he was going down to the human planet, but he was taking every precaution possible. Full environmental suits for everyone, he told his small landing team. Maximum radiation shielding, emergency medical supplies, and keep the shuttle ready for immediate takeoff. Science Officer Veltar and Communications Specialist Quinda would come with him. Both were scared but curious. They had spent 3 days studying every piece of data about the planet. Nothing made sense. The humans called their world Earth. They had been living on it for thousands of years. Not hiding in caves or underground cities, but right on the surface under the deadly sky. The shuttle is ready, Captain, reported Pilot Nexal. I have programmed 3 different emergency escape routes. Good thinking, Zexai said. If something goes wrong down there, get us out fast. The shuttle dropped through Earth's atmosphere. The 3 aliens watched their instruments in horror. The radiation levels kept climbing. The atmospheric pressure was crushing. The temperature readings showed it was hot enough to cook most foods from their worlds. Landing coordinates received from Houston Control, Nexal announced. They have cleared a space for us at something called Johnson Space Center. As they broke through the clouds, the aliens got their first real look at Earth's surface. What they saw made them gasp. The land was covered in green plants. Vast forests stretched to the horizon. Rivers and lakes sparkled in the deadly sunlight. And everywhere there were signs of human activity. Cities, roads, farms, buildings. All of it right out in the open. They really do live on the surface, Veltar whispered. The shuttle landed on a flat area of concrete. Through the windows, they could see a small group of humans waiting for them. The humans were not wearing any protection suits. They stood in the open air under the blazing sun, as if it was perfectly normal. Remember, Zexhai told his team, stay in full protection gear at all times. Do not remove your helmets, do not eat or drink anything they offer. They opened the shuttle door and stepped out into hell. The first thing that hit them was the heat. Even through their cooling systems, they could feel the awful temperature. The air shimmered with deadly energy from the sun above. A human male walked toward them. He was tall, with brown hair and dark skin. He wore only thin cloth coverings and showed no signs of distress from the terrible conditions. "Welcome to Earth," the human said with a big smile. "I'm Jake Martinez. We talked on the radio." Zexhai tried to speak, but found his voice box was not working properly in the thick atmosphere. "Don't worry about talking," Jake continued. "Dr. Park brought some equipment to help with translation. Lisa, come meet our guests." A human female approached. She had long black hair and was carrying a small electronic device. Like Jake, she wore minimal clothing and seemed completely comfortable in the hellish environment. "Hello," Dr. Lisa Park said. "I'm a xenobiologist. That means I study alien life forms. Though I guess from your point of view, we're the aliens." She laughed at her own joke. The aliens did not understand humor in these conditions. "This is amazing," Lisa continued. "Do you mind if I ask what planet you're from? Your suits look like they're designed for a very different environment." Quinda managed to get her translator working. "We come from Therian Prime. The temperature there is -40 degrees. The atmosphere is nitrogen and methane." -40, Jake said. "That's colder than Antarctica. No wonder you need those suits. You must be freezing in this heat." "We are not freezing," Veltar said carefully. "We are in danger of overheating and dying." Both humans looked concerned. "Oh no," Lisa said. "We should get you somewhere cooler. The building over there has air conditioning. We can bring the temperature down to maybe 70 degrees. 70 degrees is still hot enough to kill us," Zexhai said. Jake and Lisa looked at each other with worry. "How about we bring some ice?" Jake suggested. "We can cool things down more." "Ice?" Veltar asked. "Frozen water," Lisa explained. "When water gets cold enough, it becomes solid. We use it to keep things cool." The aliens were amazed. These humans could actually freeze the dangerous chemical water that covered their planet. A third human joined them. This one was older, with gray hair and wearing what looked like a military uniform. "General Pete Collins," the human said, holding out his hand. "I run the First Contact Division." The aliens stared at the extended hand. "Oh, right," Pete said, pulling his hand back. "Different customs, sorry about that. We shake hands as a greeting." "You touch each other?" Quinda asked in shock. "Is that not dangerous with the radiation levels?" "Radiation?" Pete looked confused. "You mean from the sun? We get a little sunburn sometimes, but it's not too bad." "A little sunburn?" Veltar checked her instruments again. "The radiation here would strip our skin off in minutes." "Well, human skin is pretty tough," Lisa said. "We evolved here, so we're adapted to these conditions. Plus, our atmosphere blocks most of the dangerous radiation." "Your atmosphere makes things more dangerous," Veltar replied. 21% oxygen is explosive." Jake grinned. "Want to see something cool?" Before the aliens could stop him, Jake pulled out a small device and flicked it. A flame appeared at one end. All three aliens jumped backward and started shouting into their radios for emergency pickup. "Whoa, whoa," Lisa said, waving her hands. "It's okay. It's just a lighter. Jake, put that away. You're scaring them." Jake clicked the device off and the flame disappeared. "Sorry, folks. I forgot you're not used to fire. You carry combustion devices as personal items?" Zexhai asked weakly. "Sure. Lots of people smoke cigarettes or light candles. Fire is pretty common here. You deliberately inhale the smoke from burning materials?" Quinda was starting to sound hysterical. "Well, not me," Jake said. "I quit smoking years ago. Bad for your health. But you still carry flame devices. You never know when you might need fire, Jake replied with a shrug. General Collins cleared his throat. Maybe we should go inside where it's more comfortable. We have cold drinks and snacks prepared. Cold drinks? Veltar asked hopefully. Ice cold, Lisa confirmed. Coca-Cola, lemonade, iced tea, all kept at about 40 degrees. That is still too hot, Zexai said sadly. How about ice cream? Jake suggested. That's frozen, maybe 10 degrees below zero. The aliens looked at each other. They had never heard of anyone eating frozen food for pleasure. You eat ice? Quinda asked. Ice cream, Lisa corrected. It's sweet and creamy and delicious. Kids love it. Children eat frozen materials? All the time, Pete said, especially in summer when it's hot like today. You let your young ones outside in these conditions? Veltar was horrified. Sure, kids play outside every day. Swimming, running around, playing sports. Fresh air and exercise are good for them. The aliens could not believe what they were hearing. These humans not only survived on a Hellworld, they let their children play in the deadly environment for fun. Listen, General Collins said gently. I think we're overwhelming you with information. Why don't we start simple? We have a nice cool room inside where we can talk more comfortably. We promise not to light any fires or do anything scary. Zexai looked at his team. They were all terrified but also fascinated. These humans seemed friendly and genuinely happy to meet them. Maybe they could learn something important here. Very well, he said. But we stay in our suits. Of course, Lisa said. Whatever makes you comfortable. As they walked toward the building, Jake looked up at the bright blue sky. Beautiful day, he said cheerfully. Perfect weather for meeting aliens. The three aliens followed him in stunned silence, wondering what kind of species considered a Class 13 Hellworld to have perfect weather. Captain Zexai stood before the Galactic Council on Nexus Prime. The great chamber was filled with representatives from 50 different worlds. All of them were staring at him like he had lost his mind. High Chancellor Mordan, of the Ethereal Collective, leaned forward in his floating chair. His ghostly form shimmered with disbelief. Captain Zexai, he said in his hollow voice, please repeat what you just told us. Zexai took a deep breath. We have discovered intelligent life on a Class 13 Hellworld. The species calls themselves humans. They not only survive on their planet, they appear to enjoy living there. War Master Krek of the Vorthon Empire slammed his massive fist on his table. His red armor rattled with the impact. Impossible, he roared. I have conquered 17 worlds. My warriors are the toughest in the galaxy. Even we cannot survive on a Class 13 planet. With respect, War Master, Zexai replied. I have seen it with my own eyes. Counselor Yithra floated up from her seat. She was the galaxy's leading expert on planetary classification. Her blue tentacles waved in agitation. Captain, I have studied thousands of worlds. I created the classification system myself. Class, 13 planets are uninhabitable. The math is very clear. The math may be clear, Zexai said, but the humans are still there. He activated the holographic display. Images from Earth filled the chamber. The council members gasped and whispered in their own languages. This is their largest population center, Zexai explained. They call it New York City. 8 million humans live here, all on the surface. The image showed tall buildings reaching toward the deadly sky. Tiny figures moved on the streets below. Vehicles carried humans from place to place, all under the burning radiation of their star. How do they survive the gravity? Asked Delegate Rentok from the Low Gravity Coalition. They seem adapted to it, Zexai replied. They move normally. Some of them even engage in activities that increase the gravitational stress on their bodies. What do you mean? Counselor Yithra demanded. They jump. They run. They lift heavy objects for something they call exercise. I watched a human female carry a weight that was half her body mass, multiple times, while smiling. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. Surely they must wear protective gear. And I, Chancellor Morden suggested. Very little. Most humans wear only thin cloth coverings. They expose large areas of their skin to the atmosphere and radiation. The next image showed a human beach. Hundreds of humans lay on sand, their skin exposed to the direct rays of their deadly star. They do this for pleasure, HFY said. They call it sunbathing. Several council members required medical attention. War Master Krek stood up, his full 3-meter height casting shadows across the chamber. These humans must be warriors, he declared. Genetically engineered for battle. Nothing else explains this madness. I do not believe so, HFY said. I observed their young. Human children are soft and vulnerable when born. They require years of care to reach maturity. This is not consistent with a warrior species. Then how? Demanded Counselor Yithra. Before HFY could answer, the chamber doors opened. A small figure walked in, wearing a simple blue suit. The security guards were nervous, but had been ordered to allow the visitor to enter. Hello, everyone, the figure said in perfect galactic standard. I'm Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. The chamber fell silent. This was a human, a real human, standing in their presence without any protective gear. Dr. Rodriguez was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She looked completely normal, which made her existence even more terrifying to the assembled aliens. I understand. There has been some confusion about my people, she continued. Captain HFY has done an excellent job reporting what he saw, but I think a presentation from a human perspective might help. High Chancellor Mordan found his voice. How are you alive? This station has standard atmospheric conditions. The temperature, the pressure, the gas mixture. It should kill you. Oh, it's a bit chilly in here, Elena admitted. And the air feels thin. But humans are pretty adaptable. We've created life support systems that let us visit other environments. She gestured to a small device on her collar. This little gadget helps me breathe your atmosphere and regulates my body temperature. Human technology has come a long way. You built technology to survive in normal conditions, Counselor Yithra said slowly, while living naturally in conditions that should be impossible. That's one way to look at it, Elena agreed. We don't think of Earth as dangerous. To us, it's beautiful and full of life. She activated her own holographic display, the chamber filled with images of Earth's landscapes. These are the Rocky Mountains, she said, showing snow-capped peaks stretching to the horizon. Humans live here year-round. We ski down the mountains for fun. You slide down unstable terrain at high speed, War Master Krek said faintly. For entertainment. We do lots of things for fun, Elena replied cheerfully. Surfing, mountain climbing, scuba diving, skydiving. Life is meant to be enjoyed. The next image showed humans in the ocean, riding on boards as massive waves crashed around them. Those waves could crush a battle tank, someone whispered. The ocean is beautiful, Elena said. Humans have always loved the sea. We swim in it, sail on it, dive under it to explore. The water contains dangerous chemicals, Counselor Yithra protested. Salt water can sting your eyes a bit, Elena acknowledged. But it's not dangerous if you're careful. Millions of humans swim in the ocean every day. War Master Krek sat down, heavily in his chair. His red face had turned pale pink. Are all humans like you? He asked. Fearless warriors who laugh at death? Elena smiled. We're not warriors, War Master. We're just people. We work, we love, we raise families, we dream about the future. Earth taught us to be tough, but it also taught us to appreciate life. Your world tried to kill you, High Chancellor Mordan said, and instead of leaving, you made it your home. Every world has challenges, Elena replied. Storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, dangerous animals. We learned to work with our environment instead of against it. We built shelters that could survive hurricanes. We created early warning systems for natural disasters. We studied the dangerous plants and animals so we could avoid them or use them to help us. She showed images of human cities, farms, and forests. We didn't conquer Earth, she said softly. We became part of it, and it made us who we are. The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Then Counselor Yithra spoke. Ambassador Rodriguez, the Galactic Council finds it very hard to believe your claims. Your world is classified as uninhabitable by our most advanced science. I understand your skepticism, Elena replied. That's why I'm inviting you all to visit Earth yourselves. See how we live. Meet our people. Experience our world. The council members looked at each other in horror. An inspection mission, High Chancellor Mordan said slowly. A friendly visit, Elena corrected. We'll take every precaution to keep you safe, but I think you need to see the truth with your own eyes. War Master Krek leaned forward. And if this is some kind of trap, if your people are as dangerous as your world? Elena's smile never wavered. Then you'll learn something important about humans. We don't hurt our guests. Hospitality is one of our oldest traditions. She paused, then added, Besides, if we wanted to hurt you, would we invite you to our home planet where we have every advantage? The logic was unshakable. High Chancellor Mordan called for a recess to discuss the proposal. As the council members filed out, many of them looked back at the small human woman who had just invited them to visit Hell. Elena stood calmly in the center of the great chamber, waiting patiently for their decision. To her, she was just offering to show some new friends around her hometown. To them, she was the most terrifying thing they had ever encountered, a being so tough that she considered a Class 13 Hellworld to be a nice place to raise children. The inspection ship Galactic Unity entered Earth's orbit, carrying 12 of the most important beings in known space. Each representative came from a different species, and all of them were terrified. Dr. Zenko, from the peaceful Lumina Confederacy, checked her environmental suit for the 20th time. Her glowing skin was dim with worry. The radiation readings are off the charts, she whispered to Commander Thax of the Mandrak clans. Commander Thax was a veteran of 100 battles, but even his warrior's pride could not hide his fear. His thick armor was loaded with every protection device his people had invented. My ancestors conquered the ice moons of Vrax, he muttered. But this is madness. Dr. Poilek from the Silicon Collective ran calculations in his mechanical brain. No matter how he processed the numbers, they always came to the same conclusion. The planet below should be empty of life. The atmospheric composition alone should prevent complex organisms from existing, he told the others. Yet our sensors detect billions of life forms. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez floated over to their group. She moved easily in the zero gravity, wearing only a simple spacesuit. Don't worry, she said kindly. We've planned a nice tour for you. Nothing too scary for your first visit. Nothing scary? Dr. Zenko's voice was very high. Ambassador, your entire planet is scary. Elena laughed. Wait until you see the Amazon rainforest. It's beautiful this time of year. The aliens looked at each other in panic. They had studied Earth's data files. The Amazon was classified as a toxic biological hazard zone filled with poisonous plants and deadly creatures. The shuttlecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere. The alien inspection team watched their instruments in horror as the readings climbed higher and higher. Temperature, radiation, atmospheric pressure, everything was at levels that should kill them instantly. Landing in Brazil, announced the human pilot Carlos Mendez. He was calm and cheerful, like all humans seem to be when faced with certain death. Weather looks perfect today. Sunny skies, 35 degrees Celsius, light breeze. Perfect weather, Commander Thax repeated weakly. They landed at a research station deep in the Amazon jungle. As soon as the shuttle doors opened, the aliens were hit with a wall of heat and humidity that made their environmental systems scream warnings. Carlos stepped out first, wearing nothing but shorts, a t-shirt, and a hat. He breathed the toxic air deeply and smiled. Ah, jungle air, he said happily. Nothing like it. The inspection team followed him out, moving like they were walking through a minefield. Their instruments detected thousands of different chemical compounds in the air, most of them unknown, and potentially deadly. This way, Carlos said, leading them down a path into the green hell of the rainforest. Dr. Martinez is waiting at the research camp. Is Dr. Martinez wearing protective gear? Dr. Zenko asked hopefully. Just her regular field clothes, bug spray maybe. Bug spray? For the insects. They can be annoying if you don't use repellent. The aliens' instruments immediately detected the insects Carlos mentioned. Thousands of them. Flying, crawling, buzzing creatures everywhere. Many of them were trying to land on the aliens' suits. They are attempting to attack us. Commander Thax reached for his weapon. Relax, Carlos said. They're just curious. Most of them are harmless. Most of them? Well, some of the spiders and snakes can be dangerous, and the bullet ants have a pretty painful sting. But if you watch where you step and don't bother them, they usually leave you alone. The inspection team huddled closer together as they walked deeper into the jungle. Plants towered overhead, blocking out the deadly sun but creating a green maze filled with unknown dangers. How beautiful, said a voice ahead of them. Dr. Ana Martinez emerged from the jungle wearing khaki clothes and muddy boots. She was a young, human woman with bright eyes and a huge smile. In her hands, she carried what looked like a writhing rope. Look what I found, she said excitedly. A perfect specimen of boa constrictor. The aliens screamed and jumped backward. Dr. Martinez was holding a massive snake like it was a pet. Don't worry, she said, confused by their reaction. Boas aren't venomous. This one is really gentle. You are holding a predator. Dr. Zenko's voice was almost a shriek. She's not a predator to humans. Boas eat small mammals and birds. This girl is probably more afraid of us than we are of her. Dr. Martinez gently placed the snake on a tree branch. It slithered away into the leaves. Amazing creatures, she said fondly. I've been studying Amazon reptiles for 5 years now. You have lived in this toxic environment for 5 years? Dr. Poilek's mechanical voice was full of disbelief. Toxic? The Amazon isn't toxic. It's one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. We've discovered dozens of new species just this year. She led them to the research camp, which was just a collection of simple buildings with no walls. Humans sat at tables in the open air working with computers and scientific equipment. Aren't you concerned about exposure to the elements? Commander Thax asked. The weather's been great, Anna replied. Rainy season doesn't start for another month. Rain? Dr. Zenko looked up at the sky in terror. Oh, it's amazing when it rains here. The whole forest comes alive. You can hear it from miles away. The aliens spent the day watching humans work in conditions that should have killed them in minutes. The researchers handled dangerous plants with their bare hands. They waded through streams filled with unknown chemicals and possibly hostile life forms. They ate food that had been grown in the toxic soil. This fruit is delicious, Anna said, offering them something she had picked from a tree. Want to try some? You eat plants that grow in this environment? Dr. Poilek asked. Sure. Lots of Amazon fruits are edible. The local people have been eating them for thousands of years. Local people? Indigenous tribes. They know more about this forest than any scientist. Their ancestors lived here long, before we had any technology. The inspection team was quiet for a moment, processing this information. Humans lived here without technology? Commander Thax asked slowly. For over 10,000 years they thrived here, built entire civilizations in harmony with the jungle. From the Amazon, the inspection team traveled to Colorado, where mountain climber Amy Foster took them hiking in the Rocky Mountains. The view from up here is incredible, Amy said as they climbed higher into the thin air. The aliens were struggling even with their enhanced breathing systems. The altitude was making them dizzy and weak. How high are we? Dr. Zenko gasped. About 3,000 meters above sea level, Amy replied, not even breathing hard. We're heading for that peak over there, about 4,200 meters. That altitude is lethal for most species, Dr. Poilek protested. Some humans live at altitudes like this year-round, Amy explained. There are cities in the Andes Mountains higher than where we're going. Cities? People live up here permanently? Millions of people. They're born here, grow up here, raise families here. The high altitude is just normal life for them. Next, they visited Australia, where Ranger Nick Thompson showed them around what their instruments classified as an unsurvivable desert wasteland. "This is the Outback," Nick explained, as they stood in blazing heat that made the aliens' cooling systems work overtime. "Might seem harsh to outsiders, but it's home to lots of people." "How do they find water in this desert?" Commander Thax asked. "Aboriginal people have been living here for 60,000 years, Nick said. "They know where every water source is. They can read the land like a book." 60,000 years? Dr. Zenko was amazed. "Yep. Longest continuous culture on Earth. They survived ice ages, climate changes, everything nature could throw at them. Pretty impressive people." The final stop was Hawaii, where volcanologist Dr. Maria Santos took them to observe active lava flows. "Isn't this beautiful?" Maria said as they stood near a river of molten rock. The aliens were convinced she was trying to murder them. The heat was incredible even through their suits. The toxic gases made their sensors scream warnings. "You study this as a profession?" Dr. Poilek asked. "I love volcanoes," Maria replied. "They're amazing forces of nature. This lava is creating new land as we speak. It's like watching the planet being born." "Does the lava not kill everything it touches?" "Well, yes, it's very hot, but life always comes back. In a few years, plants will grow on this new rock. In a few decades, it'll be a forest." As their tour ended, the inspection team gathered on a Hawaiian beach to write their report. They watched in amazement as human children played in the ocean waves while their parents sat nearby completely relaxed. "I don't understand," Dr. Zenko said quietly. "How can they be so calm? How can they let their young ones play in such dangerous conditions?" Commander Thax watched a small human child build a castle out of sand, laughing as waves crashed nearby. "I think," he said slowly, "we have been looking at this wrong. We see a Hellworld. They see home." Dr. Poilek ran calculations in his mechanical brain. "Their environmental adaptations are remarkable. But more than that, they have learned to work with their planet instead of against it. The humans aren't just surviving," Dr. Zenko realized. "They're thriving, and they're happy." As the sun set over the Pacific Ocean, the three aliens sat on the beach and watched human families enjoy an evening that would have killed most galactic species in minutes. "What do we tell the Council?" Commander Thax asked. "The truth," Dr. Poilek replied. "We have found the toughest." 6 months after the inspection team returned to the Galactic Council, everything had changed. The report they submitted had shocked the entire galaxy. High Chancellor Mordan read the document for the 5th time, still unable to believe what it said. "They not only survive on a Class 13 world," he said to his advisors. "They consider it a pleasant place to raise children." The political implications were enormous. If humans could live comfortably on the most dangerous type of planet, what did that mean for galactic expansion? Thousands of worlds had been marked as uninhabitable. Maybe they weren't. President Ryan Clark of the United Earth government sat across from the Chancellor in the newly built Diplomatic Center on Nexus Prime. The room's environmental systems had been adjusted to make both species comfortable. "We appreciate the warm welcome," Ryan said with a smile. "Though I have to say this place feels a bit cold and dry to us." "We have tried to find a middle ground," the Chancellor replied. "Your people's environmental needs are unique. Every species is adapted to their homeworld," Ryan said diplomatically. "What seems extreme to you is normal to us." War Master Krek entered the chamber, his heavy footsteps echoing on the metal floor. Behind him walked Commander Lisa Wright, a human military officer. "The first joint mission is ready to launch," Krek announced. "Destination, Kepler 4442b. Classification, Class 8. "What do your people think of a Class 8 world?" Chancellor Morden asked Commander Wright. Lisa smiled. "Our scientists are excited. The gravity is only 1.1 times Earth normal. The temperature range is comfortable. Lots of water. It should be like a nice vacation planet for humans." Krek's red face showed amazement. "A vacation planet? What we consider a moderate challenge, humans see as relaxation. That's why this partnership makes sense," President Clark said. "Humans can help other species settle worlds that were previously considered too dangerous. And in return we learn from your advanced technologies and join the galactic community. The ID. First colony ship New Horizons launched 3 weeks later. Commander Wright led a team of 50 humans and 20 Vorthan warriors to establish a settlement on Kepler, 442b. The mission was supposed to take 2 years. The humans had it operational in 6 months. The humans have built a city, Krek reported, back to the Council via long-range communication. They call it New Denver. It has parks, schools, and something called a shopping mall. What is their defensive situation? Asked War Master Krek. They don't have any defenses. They say the planet is too nice to need them. The success of New Denver led to more requests. The Council identified 12 more worlds that might be suitable for human-assisted colonization. But the real surprise came from an unexpected source. War Chief Grackmore of the Krillian Death Lords requested a private meeting with President Clark. The Krillians were the most feared warrior race in the galaxy. They had conquered dozens of worlds and defeated every enemy they faced. I come to you with humility, Grackmore said, his scarred face showing embarrassment. My people need your help. We're honored to help in any way we can, President Clark replied. 5,000 years ago, my ancestors were driven from our homeworld by impossible conditions. We have wandered space ever since, conquering other planets because we had no choice. Grackmore showed images of a dark volcanic world racked by constant storms. Krillia Prime. Classification, Class 11. We thought it was a death world. But after seeing what humans can do, you want to go home, President Clark said softly. My people dream of it every night. But we cannot survive there anymore. Thousands of years in climate-controlled ships have made us weak. President Clark studied the images. The planet looked harsh but not impossible. We'll help you, he said simply. You would do this? Even though my people have been warriors and conquerors, everyone deserves to go home. The mission to reclaim Krillia Prime became the biggest joint operation in galactic history. Human environmental specialists worked with Krillian engineers to build settlements that could withstand the planet's extreme conditions. Jake Martinez, now Director of Interspecies Environmental Relations, led the human team. The volcanic activity is actually helpful, he explained to the amazed Krillians. We can use geothermal energy for power. The sulfur compounds in the atmosphere are tough on equipment, but we've dealt with worse on Venus. You have been to Venus? Grackmore asked. Sure. Humans have research stations there. It's about as hot as Krillia Prime, but with more acid rain. The Krillian warriors stared at Jake in disbelief. You live on a world worse than our nightmare planet. One of them said quietly. And you call it home? Earth taught us to be tough, Jake replied, but it also taught us to help others. That's what makes us human. Within a year, the first Krillian settlement was established on their homeworld. War Chief Grackmore stood on the surface of Krillia, Prime for the first time in his life, breathing the air his ancestors had breathed. My people have forgotten how to live on a real world, he told Jake. We need human teachers. We need Krillian warriors to protect the settlements, Jake replied. It's a fair trade. The partnership worked so well that other species began requesting human assistance. The peaceful Lumina wanted help settling ocean worlds. The Silicon Collective needed humans to work on high-radiation planets where their electronic bodies would malfunction. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now Earth's senior ambassador, found herself busier than ever. We've gone from being unknown to being the galaxy's most popular environmental consultants, she told her staff. Is that good or bad? Asked her assistant. It's amazing, Elena replied. 3 years ago, the galaxy thought we lived on an impossible world. Now they realize we live on a training ground. The transformation was remarkable. Earth became the center of a new kind of diplomacy. Instead of threatening each other with weapons, species now competed to offer humans the best deals for environmental assistance. The Galactic Council established new classification systems. Worlds that had been marked as uninhabitable were reclassified as human-suitable, or human-assisted colonization possible. High Chancellor Mordan summed it up in his address to the Council. We spent 10,000 years looking for perfect worlds to colonize. The humans taught us that there are no perfect worlds. There are only worlds that teach you how to be strong. But perhaps the most important change was in how species saw each other. The galaxy had been divided between strong warrior races and peaceful civilian populations. Humans showed them a third option, a species that was tough enough to thrive in hell, but kind enough to help their neighbors. Commander Thax put it best when he was asked about the human impact on galactic society. We used to measure strength by how many worlds we could conquer. The humans measure strength by how many worlds they can make livable. I know which approach builds a better galaxy. The story spread throughout known space. The species that lived on the worst planet in the galaxy but made it work. The people who breathed poison, walked under deadly radiation, and raised their children in conditions that would kill trained warriors. And when other species needed help living in dangerous places, the humans didn't hesitate to offer assistance. Jake. Martinez stood on the observation deck of the orbital station above Crelia Prime, watching the lights of the growing settlements below. Beside him, War Chief Grackmore looked down at his reclaimed homeworld. Your people have given mine the greatest gift possible, Grackmore said. You gave us back our home. Every species deserves a home, Jake replied, even if that home tries to kill you every day. Grackmore laughed, a sound no one had heard from a Krillian warrior in generations. Perhaps that is what makes a home special, he said. It makes you strong enough to help others. As they watched, a new transport landed at the main settlement. More human families coming to help build a civilization on a world that had once been considered uninhabitable. What's next? Grackmore asked. Jake smiled and pulled up a star chart showing dozens of worlds marked for human-assisted colonization. The galaxy is full of places that need homes, he said, and humans love a good challenge. Below them, human children played in the volcanic sand, while Krillian warriors taught them traditional songs. The sight would have been impossible just a few years ago. Now it was just another day in the new galaxy, where the species from the Hellworld had taught everyone else that there was no such thing as an impossible place to live. There were only places that hadn't met the right people yet.